Well, it's been a long road, but we finally got here to the end of our series of Playmates sponsored reviews for their throwback Turtles lines. We've shown you guys the Pizza Tossin' Turtles, we've shown you the Elite series, which I broke up into heroes and villains, and now we have these Storage Shell Turtles, which are pretty close remakes of their 1990-ish counterparts. So we'll check this out, and I'll show you guys how they're kind of the same and how they differ, but as always, let's get right into the packaging. Going to start over here with Leonardo, just who I happen to pick up. So the packaging is pretty similar, and I'll give you a shot in a minute of the original packaging for some of these to the original Turtles. Essentially, the only difference here is the weapons are not contained in that little grid of weapons that they used to all be attached to with the little sprues. The back is different. The little clip and collect card on these are the same, but what differs here is the artwork. So now on the back, as you can see, you got the evolution of the Turtles, which was apparent on some of the card backs, but not on all of them. But they don't have, other than just this current line, they don't have the expansive line of figures. So with Donatello here, you can see how he's very close to the original. I think the only difference is they had Scumbug up in the top. And you kind of see they're attacking nobody on this here. In the other one, he was attacking a character in the middle. So that's what each one of these had, some kind of villain they were attacking in the middle. But the card is a pretty good throwback to the original. The slogan that's over on the front there with Raf, it's "Shove it in my shell." That's the same for each of the characters. They had the same slogan and the same clip and collect bio on the back. But other than that, the artwork has changed a little bit to go with these characters, but everything else is pretty much similar on these guys. The weapons are, for the most part, for far as I could tell, are all the same weapons. They're just kind of put in here differently than they used to be with that extra sort of holder that was on them. But that's nice that they kept these very close to the original, so it's a nice little piece of nostalgia throwback like we saw with the Pizza Tossin' figures. So that is our quick look at the package. Why don't we hop right in and check these guys out. So we'll open a bunch of these at a time here, since they're very similar in the packaging, nothing too different about them other than just the characters. We'll use our Blade of Exact Zero. I hope some of you get that throwback reference there. So we'll start with Leo as the leader. Like always, I like doing this little technique where I kind of cut close to the packaging so as not to ruin the artwork, because I love the artwork on these old throwback cards. Everything from this time period I think was just great. We don't really have much artwork on card backs anymore. It's all kind of just, you know, about the product and not so much about the sort of the look or the presentation of it. So I kind of miss that, like these great action sequences and this hand-drawn artwork. We don't really see that anymore. It's all either CGI or just logo now. So checking out Leo here, and we'll use our sprue cutters we have here off camera just because they're easy to get past it. He's secured in with a little, and there go the parts. The parts are not secured in, but he's secured in with these little tabs. So I'm just going to cut these out from behind so I don't ruin the figure. And these sprue cutters are great because you can get really close and cut out an angle. So here is our Leo, and our Leo has a sword holder on the back for his katanas. And other than that, checking him out really quick, he's got articulation in his forearms, and his shoulders, and his legs. His knees don't bend or anything like that, and his head turns. So what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 points of articulation, if you don't count the shell that opens. So the shell will open as well. And here's our storage area, and we'll attempt to fit these different parts in. So I'll start grabbing these weapons, but as I do that, I'm going to give you a close-up so you can check out Leo here. And he very closely resembles the original figure. It's more than likely using the original mold, so nothing different there. I mean, these are kind of classic molds where they were, in that time period of action figures, the muscle structure was overemphasized, so most characters were beefy and tough looking. I remember the Star Wars line in the 90s, everyone was jacked. It was kind of funny to see a jacked farm boy Luke, but that was the style at the time. Everything was just a little beefed up. So in the shell here, we have plenty of space to fit all these accessories. I think this little nub here is kind of meant for you to put the sai on, so I'll do that just because it's easy. And these things are really tiny, so I would lose these a lot as a kid. He has these, I'm going to call these knuckle dusters or something you could put in his hands here. So we'll throw those in there as well. I don't think there's any kind of neat way to do it. You just kind of throw it all in. The picture just kind of has it, you know, tossed inside the shell here. And he's got a little club, or it's an armadillo that is actually a club. And then the pizza, which you could throw in here as well. And then it should all, well, it's a little tight, but it should all fit in there. And then he's got the katana on the outside. I think if you start with the armadillo, maybe it makes it a little bit easier than trying to fit these larger or the smaller pieces in first. So once you get all these in the right way, which I'm not really sure how, it should close, or it should be really snug. Let's see here. I am having issues closing it even without things in it. Okay, here we go. I believe there's a way of doing it. I'm just not good at it. So anyway, I'll play around with that for the next one. But you could put his swords in the back here in that little cross pattern you typically see him in. So you can't get everything, the full arsenal on the turtle. If you're better than I am at doing this, I'm sure there's a way to do it. I'm just not very good at it. These were always tricky, and the swords have a little give to them, so you could kind of bend them around each other. But that's basically the look you're going to get with your turtle with all his little accessories. And we'll just put this in his hand. So now he's kitted out and he's ready to go on his quest for eating pizza or fighting foot with his full arsenal and his turtle shell. So these were kind of cool that all the original turtles came with a whole bunch of accessories, but you really didn't carry any more than the swords that you could put on his back. So having the shell, which doesn't make the figure, you can see, any bulkier than the standard figures. Actually, these look a little thinner than I recall the standard figures were. You can still fit a ton in them. So that is our look at Leo. Let's hop over to Donnie next and check him out. All right, we got Donnie here. I pre-sliced them to save a little time, so you guys don't have to watch me cut this guy open again. I did get the pizza inside Leo. I Tetrised them pretty good, so there is a way to fit all the accessories in there. I think it's going to be a real challenge going on to the rest of this video, but I'll keep giving it a shot. You should be able to fit all the accessories on the character in the backpack, so we'll give this a shot. Donnie here comes with a whole host of accessories. I will give you a close-up because you're not going to be able to see the great detail in all these from that far away. But you can see here he's got like a fish sword, he's got a battle axe, he's got a slingshot, of course he's got his pizza, and he has his shurikens or throwing stars, whatever you want to call them here. So he's got a nice assortment of accessories. They all kind of come with the throwing stars. It's always been like a staple of turtles and Playmates that they come with these throwing stars. I don't ever recall them using any in the show, but they always came with them. So we'll give you guys a close-up here of Donatello, and you can see, again, really mirrors that classic 90s Donatello that I showed you there. It's got that grimace. They all kind of had a tough guy grimace, even though in the show they weren't really, they were more friendly than this tough demeanor. So it's kind of interesting to have that sort of contrast with their actual personality on the action figures. They all kind of look more serious than they were in the show. But he has his bow, which you see here, you can put in his hand. And then, of course, on the back here, he has his little holster for the bow. I'm not sure what that's, holster is the word for it, but he could put his bow in the shell there, and he could have his equipment on display. So we'll check out the inside of his shell, and this is essentially the same shell as Leo. There's no difference on the inside here. Everything, the color is the same. The belt is different. It's purple instead of whatever they had, blue, sorry, on that one. Words are escaping me today. Again, I'm going to put the throwing star on this center dot here because it holds them in nice and neat. I found the trick is put the pizza in first, and then you could kind of try to squish the other larger accessories around that once you get the pizza in. So I'll go with the slingshot, the knife, and then the axe here on top. And I'll see if this works. And there we go. Yep. So that's 2 for 2. So far, so good in getting all the accessories in the shells. So yeah, that is your shell shell storage Donnie, and he's looking pretty sharp with his bow, and all these accessories fit in there. Again, one thing I liked about the original Turtles, and they kind of kept this consistent with a lot of Turtle lines, is they were all slightly different colors. So they kept that consistent here. It was another, in addition to their headbands and their belts, whatever, this was another way of telling them apart. It was just the slightly different shades. Not as drastic as Mikey and Raf, as Donnie and Leo, but he is actually like a olive green versus a lighter green, so that's kind of neat that they kept that consistent in that old line and kept that back in the current line as well. So that is Donnie. Let's move on to Raf next. So with Raf, we got a whole bunch of different accessories. We have a sort of an axe with a mace on the top of it. So a nice combination there of a morning star, but made out of a puffer fish instead of a giant spike ball at the end, so that's kind of fun. He's got a boomerang, but it looks like a croissant boomerang maybe. Everything's food-based with these guys. I love that. It's kind of on point for who they are. Of course, the throwing stars again. Those are the one consistent, like I said, through all the figures. That and the pizza. They always come with some kind of pizza. Raf, of course, comes with his signature sai. And then we have our Raf guy here. As I mentioned with the Leo and Donnie, Raf is a completely different shade of green, a lot lighter than these guys here. He kind of stands out that way. They're all kind of have a grimace. He has the most grimace because Raf was the tough guy. Always portrayed as the tough individual. So we'll check out a 360 here. Now Raf has got a couple of holsters on the front for his sai, and then he's got another holster on the back as well. I'm not sure specifically what you're supposed to put in there, but I like it because I'll be able to get more weapons in the shell without having to worry about that. So we'll see in a second there. But it looks kind of triangular, like they used to come with this angled knife in all of them. Even Shredder had it. And I showed you guys in the video with the Shredder. But I guess you could put whatever you want in there. I'll throw the little boomerang in there. It's got a mushroom on the boomerang there too. But I don't think it was meant for, maybe he could die hard and have a sai on his back. But I don't think it was meant for any of these accessories. So again, I'm going to put the little throwing stars here on the peg on the inside, because it's sort of like the perfect place to hold these, because they're really tiny and they'd fall out every time you'd open this door otherwise. I'll put the pizza in first, get that in all the way in, and then this is going to be tough because this morning star is really long. So maybe I'll put the morning star on the outside there. I think it's better suited for that holster, just because I don't want to bend it, although, you know, Morningstar it's supposed to. It's just like, I don't think it's really equipped for bending. So I'll put that in the holster on his back, like thus. So we'll repurpose that holster to use it for the Morningstar. And then look at that. We got 3 for 3 so far, kitted out with their accessories, all fitted on their person. Another thing I noticed about Raf here is his feet are different. Leo and Donnie have the same feet with the right leg out. Raf has flat feet. So he is just kind of angled a little differently. So he is a more lower stance. I don't know if that's just his training. He had a lower stance than these guys. But that is our look at Raf. And we're going to wrap up by checking out the party dude, Mikey. Okay, so checking out Mikey. Mikey actually looks like he comes with a grappling hook. So that's kind of fun. A little piece of rope on there for him to extend that. This looks like it's supposed to be a flashlight, but it looks like it's made out of food again, which is odd. It's not really a weapon. No, I mean, if you could blind someone with it, maybe it's a distraction tool. Again, he comes with those throwing stars. That's, like I said, consistent for most turtle lines and most figures. It's an easy accessory to throw in. They probably made a million of those. And then he comes with his nunchaku. And they have that nice plastic. I know when I was a kid, my brother broke these. He would always play around with them so much until they became loose and he'd just rip them off. So I'd always have broken nunchucks. But then we have our Mikey here, and he is, like I was saying with Raf. Oh, excuse me. Oh, here we go. He is a completely different shade of green from all the other turtles. Again, Mikey usually has holsters for his nunchaku, but on the back I only see 3. So I don't know how you're supposed to fit the full set, and if there's 3. So maybe one's supposed to go in his hand. I don't know. We'll figure that out. But usually he'll have 4, so you can bend them and put the 2 in there. But we'll give you a quick look at Mikey, and a different grimace on this guy than his brothers. He has got the I guess I'll call it slightly less serious grimace. Very similar to Leonardo's though. He's just showing a little bit more gum than Leonardo. But they all kind of have their signature look in addition to their color. Again, he is flat-footed and he does not have the leg raised like Leonardo or Donatello. So these two seem to be molded similarly, and these two are molded similarly. So that's just kind of how they broke it up. So let's give it a go. We'll go for 4 for 4 on these turtle shells. So I got the stars again, doing it the same way. And then I will throw in my pizza. Just get that out of the way at the bottom. I'm going to throw in the flashlight, and I'm going to throw in the grappling hook. Now I could fit all these in here, no problem. Plenty of room there. I'll put the nunchaku in the belt, and this is where I think I'm going to hit a problem because, like I said, there's only 3. So ideally not how you're supposed to do it, but I could just display them up like this, like antenna, instead of bending them over and putting them in the belt like this is how we traditionally did it. But like I said, there's only 3, so you can't really do that. So I could put one that way and maybe another one. It's just kind of weird that they didn't do 4. They had room back here. They could have did that. I don't know if that was the original was done like that. You know, that's beyond me. I mean, I could just go look it up, but maybe you guys know if you had it. But I mean, you can do it. It's not neat. I'll bend it and put it through these other loops there to kind of get it like that. But I'm going to count that. That's 4 for 4. You can get all the accessories in these turtles without having to put them in their hands. They can carry them in their shells or on their holsters. So these things work really well. I mean, that's impressive that you can fit all that stuff in their body, and they're not giant. When we had the mutating turtles, they had to be much bigger because they had to incorporate those additional parts. So they were like way thicker and taller to get all those in there. These are the same proportion, or if not a little bit smaller than the standard turtles. So great engineering for back in the time in the 90s and then today to be able to fit all this in there without making the character larger and taking up more space. So that is the look at the Playmates, the storage shell wave or series. I think this, I'm not sure if they had bad guys like this, or as far as I recall, this was it. But these are out now. You can find them in most stores. I've seen them, I think I saw them at Target or at least at Walmart. So you should be able to find these. If I can find a link, I'll put a link up for you guys to maybe use a discount code on or something. But you can grab these guys right now if you need a kick of nostalgia. Like I showed you, these are very close to the originals. Packaging is very close to the originals. Just minor difference on that, basically. But otherwise, you're getting essentially what you used to get. So I think they're fun. I think if you get one, you gotta get all because you just need the core group here. But they have creative little accessories. Everything fits in the shell, so it's like a whole party in a whole contained pack there, a party in a shell. So worth checking out. If you were a fan or you missed them the first time around, it's your chance to get them now, 30 years later. Still just as cool to have that old style, the old coloring, everything about them just replicated straight 1-to-1. So not bad. If you're a Turtles fan, yes. If you're not a Turtles fan, you probably wouldn't be watching this video, but they're still worth checking out. So grab those in stores now for your kids, for yourself, whatever. I think it works. Expose a new generation to them, or just go back and get what you didn't get as a kid. So that's all we got for this time. That's the end of our Playmate series. Maybe we'll have more in the future. I know they have a new line based on the new film coming out, so maybe we'll check that out. Of course, we're going to have more reviews, so check back, see what we got. If you're looking for Star Wars reviews, as always, I do those over on rebelscum.com, our sister site. So you can see me doing jumbos over there, or Beast Kingdom products, or I do retrospectives on vintage and modern figures and playsets. So worth checking out if you're a Star Wars fan. All our Star Wars news is over on rebelscum.com. So that's all for this time. Like, subscribe, and follow, and we'll see you guys next time.